And Brooke Bullock.
And the return of Johnny Payne.
There's the title. Woo!
Guys.
Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. The return of Johnny Payne.
I got new glasses. You know my attitude where I have to have the glasses.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Brooke Bullock. And the return of Johnny Payne.
There's the title. I'm supposed to be the professorial smart guy. You can't be stealing my deck. The return of Johnny
Well,
Payne.
you know, it's at that point now where I've leveled up enough that I kind of need some readers. So I got my car and I got my clothes. I just picked them up at the store.
No.
Gen X.
No, that's not us. This is true. That's right. Yeah.
There's a faint echo in the background, and Michael is silent, according to Curtis, but it's Curtis. So
It could just be the voices in Curtis's head.
it's Michael. He hasn't clicked the button. Okay. Michael is saying he doesn't like the sound of his own voice anymore, and he's hiding it. For those of you who don't know what Michael is saying, they're screaming sound, Michael. So we're gonna do Michael talks. We're gonna like bad kung fu theater him.
Bad lip read.
Yeah. He said,
Now,
he said, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm a boomer. Michael was just discussing how we're not boomers, we're Gen X, and everyone missed that part. So yes, Michael's mad. Look at that vein. Look, is that vein right there? Come on the side of the right. It's like you tell Michael's mad. Some good stuff.
it's Red Dirt After Dark, ladies and gentlemen. Like,
you can hear him, but
the man gets away from his day job, and he's like, "Screw the SCC." Okay,
Michael,
that's true, but I'm at the FCA. No, what did I mean?
Check at the PC level. Make sure your Windows says, "Hey, you have a mic and it's on." Then okay. Make
There
sure
we
you
go.
got the
That's
right
the right
one.
one. Sorry.
There you go.
No, because it's Streamlabs. I don't understand why Streamlabs does this. It says, "Hey, that microphone you've been using this whole time, I'm going to change that and not tell you." And
Yes.
and hopefully you'll check your levels because you'll never know. Because I'm Streamlabs and I can fix anything. I love Streamlabs, but that's one issue I have with it is that it'll change your settings for video and audio for no reason whatsoever. Anyway, okay.
It's
I
like
have a couple of friends who are doing some YouTube work, and they say StreamYard, I think that's right, is their go-to. Like they set their levels, it stays. They're really happy with it.
I love Streamlabs. I really do. I think it's a great product as far as OBS goes. It's just for some reason it just it decides to change the settings, and I don't know why. So sorry about that, guys. So here's what I was talking about that you couldn't hear a darn thing about it. So again, I will repeat to all our young fans out there, we love you very much. We are not boomers. There was a comment on YouTube at one point like, okay, boomer or whatever. I'm sure that some young people think that anybody's over 30 is a boomer. We're not. We are proudly Gen X. We are the latchkey kids. Look it up. we were latchkey kids.
we drank and survived.
Yeah, and we grew up with Star Wars. We grew up with all the. I mean, if it was 70s, 80s, that was us.
We are the reason why all the nerdy stuff you love is popular and easily accessible today.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are not the reason all the retro stuff you love is terrible, though. Most of that is Kevin Smith.
We were there when He-Man was for sure you were going to mention a Wizard of the Coast president.
We were there when Disney was good.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing.
The president is now making Funkos. And I guess she's going to try and digitize them and make them a subscription-based thing.
Yeah, she has jumped from Hasbro over to Funko.
She came to Hasbro and kind of tanked Wizards of the Coast, and then now she's gone to a company that's already tanked Funko. They've been like throwing away inventory. They've been dumping inventory because they can't sell it. So we'll see what she does when she brings her monetization stuff to it.
Yeah, she's going to monetize that by selling the Funkos in parts, micro
just
transactions.
I would buy just the head,
and then or just the head. We're terrible.
We're awful. We're awful people. So yes, we are. But we are the reason why that things are. You are allowed to be cool with like wear Marvel shirts and Lord of the Rings shirts, because here's the thing. When we were that age, if we wore those things, we'd be thrown in lockers.
Yeah. I am jealous of Spider-Man backpacks.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it was an act of defiance to pull out my Superman metal lunchbox and put it
I had that.
I know.
I had a Superman lunchbox.
Pac-Man metal lunchbox.
Pac-Man?
Yeah. See, that was on the verge of being cool, though.
See, I was about to say, too, some of us had enough charisma that we got along with the people who would throw people like us into the lockers.
See, here's the problem, Johnny. You were born later. You were born later. By that time, it has got cool. But see, when I was, you and I were the same age. The stuff I was into and the stuff we were into the same thing at the same age. 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
But I was way earlier, so it wasn't cool yet.
Well, I was a theater kid in junior high and high school, though, and that was the big nerd thing. It was, all the jocks were like, oh, whatever. And then, they started to slowly catch on, and they're like, wait, you're the only guy in this musical with all,
Mm-hmm. I get to hang out with all the girls.
Hang around with sweaty guys. I'll be in here in the theater.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pretty smart.
Oh, yeah.
Fine. If you played football, it's fine. If you threw nerds into lockers, it's fine. It's toughened us up. Toughened you up, didn't it?
It did.
Or it gave your therapist reason to celebrate their degree.
Got so much to talk to them about. I'm putting my therapist kids through college. So,
Johnny, last week when you were gone, we introduced a new segment that kind of it barely overlaps, but there's just enough for our audience that it might catch on. Sports. Yes, there's this thing going on right now. It's the basketball playoffs. The Thunder might be in trouble.
The Thunder might be in a lot of trouble. I was actually talking. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that today. That one of our reporters went out and saw the game like last night, and said there were some Dallas fans there. And I'm like, at least there weren't. Man, when the Thunder were first in the playoffs, I went to go see their games, and they were against the L.A. Lakers, and some of the L.A. Lakers fans. Oh my gosh, they were so horrible. And I don't mean that bad about anybody from L.A., but oh my gosh, you guys were awful.
The representation that came here was not good.
Just so
Michael.
It was just oh my gosh. But the Thunder they have to win the next two games, otherwise they're out. That's all.
I think when we got the Thunder, I would sit at home and scream at my TV, especially during playoffs. Like I put my dog into therapy. Because we just jump up and start screaming at the TV. So for everyone else's peace of mind, I don't watch Thunder anymore. I don't want to watch. Yeah,
that's about how it was with sports for a long time. Is that I would really try to. And then I was like, this is not good for my blood pressure. This is not no. Let's go watch The Hobbit. Or Phantom Menace.
Which also isn't good for my blood pressure because it's not the way it was in the book.
That's right. Hey, now, did you hear this? That Netflix says, no, not Netflix, Disney says that Phantom Menace is its most streamed Star Wars movie.
I don't know what. And here's the thing: is they are not in that like Disney Plus and I think Max maybe don't report, so we can't see their numbers, and that's how they're going to get away with something that we'll probably talk about later. But yeah, so we didn't know nothing to back that up. But it's like, are people just like, hey, I want to watch all the Star Wars movies, and so they play that one first and then fall asleep and never finish it, or what the deal is? But yeah, I don't.
No, actually, they did.
The Star Wars thing is about. I guess I'll start with the first one.
And I'll fall asleep, but I just watch the
in the headlines a lot lately, and so maybe they're watching the first one for Jake Lloyd because his mother did come speak out.
No, it's actually because it celebrated its 25th anniversary. And
Okay.
so there was a lot of promotion about it. So I mean, who knows? In 2027, maybe when it's the 25th anniversary of Clones, that'll who knows? But yeah, the main reason that Disney says is because it was celebrating its 25th anniversary. So, and remember, if it's 25 years, that means you have kids who are now out of college who weren't even born when Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow, my I remember. Yeah, I've taken my son to see some Star Wars films. Phantom Menace was not one of them.
Yeah,
barely.
Now, and my son has seen them all, and knows that Phantom Menace is not good.
Mm.
He's although my wife absolutely loves it. She loves Jar Jar Binks.
I have heard recently a couple of folks say it's not as bad as I remember. Now, it is as bad as I remember, but
I keep thinking the nostalgia would kick in because I've watched it several times as the years have gone by. I have not watched it recently, but every time I watch it, I keep thinking surely there'll be that moment of nostalgia. Like, I mean, there are moments of Attack of the Clones that I'm like, okay, that's really good. There's moments, certainly moments of Revenge of the Sith, where I'm like, oh wow, that's really good. So I keep thinking that's going to happen in Phantom Menace, but every time I watch it, I'm like, well, this is not.
Yeah, it was. So the prequel trilogy is the most memed trilogy, the most quoted trilogy. Has some of the best dialogue. It's always talked about on Reddit and such. I saw something recently that was like the top sound effects in Star Wars, and some of them were from the Phantom Menace, Sebulba's pod.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Amazing sound effects, and such, and it was necessary. I've watched it more than once for sure.
Yeah, so have I.
But if I'm doing a rewatch or just a background thing that I do a lot, it's skipped. Yeah.
Now, what I will say is, because you're talking about sound effects, music. John Williams is still. I mean, you can go to the end and watch the Duel of the Fates. That battle.
That's the best part. That's the best part.
Yeah, without a doubt. But you have to. Typically, you have to get through the whole movie to get to that point, and so it's like I'd rather just skip to that part. And and
this is off topic a little bit of what we had planned for tonight, but that's okay. In each Star Wars movie, I think there's probably a moment when the crowd's like, "Whoa!" Right? And in Phantom Menace, it's got to be the double-bladed lightsaber, right?
No, because it was ruined in all the commercials.
Yeah, we already knew it was coming.
Ruined in all the commercials.
We already knew it was coming. In fact, I was kind of disappointed. Qui-Gon's death, that was a shocker. That one, when he got, I was like, dude, you just killed Liam Neeson's, man. No one kills Liam Neeson's. He's got skills. He's got skills. He knows where to find you.
That character was the last character ever to die by being run through by a lightsaber.
No, well, because like a week and a half later, they invented back-to-takes.
I guess so. Or Disney. I mean, there's something in there I could say, but people would brand me bad for it. But I mean, basically, if you look like Qui-Gon, you're gonna die if you get hit with a lightsaber. If you look completely opposite of Qui-Gon, you can survive multiple hits through the body with a lightsaber.
Yeah, you get stabbed a lot.
Disney's era.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's not. But that's
different now. They totally cauterize the wound, and it's just a hole that you can.
Here's the thing with that, Brooke. Everyone says that for the argument. Oh, you're cauterizing the wound. Well, remember when Qui-Gon shoved his lightsaber into that steel door, and the door started to just melt? Not only are you cauterizing the wound, you're boiling the liver and the heart and the lungs.
You're melting your organs. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's like a plasma.
But it's fine. If you're a small child at the Jedi Academy, you can get stabbed with it, and then when you become an adult Sith Inquisitor, you can get stabbed with it again and just walk away. It's fine. Everything's fine. You'll live forever.
That's right.
It's part of your training.
Didn't that just happen like with Sabine Wren? Didn't she get like stabbed? She got like seriously stabbed by it. Like, I'm fine.
At least she
just
had
rub
surgery.
some dirt in it. I'll be fine.
At least she had surgery. Reva, when she was stabbed as a child, it's in the midst of chaotic battle at the temple. Who grabbed her and said, "It's okay. Here's a Band-Aid and a backpack." You know, yeah. But there, yeah. Padawan.
Hey, but not even. But come on, now wait a minute. Let's face it. Yes, Qui-Gon died when he got stabbed, but Darth Maul got cut in half and survived.
So and here's the deal with that. It's unique. It happens one time, and it's unique, and it's cool. But then when everyone does it, it becomes so normalized that, oh, whoop-de-doo. Oh, here's an intense lightsaber duel, and it's not intense because you can survive it.
Yeah, I mean, and that was pre-Disney that Maul came back from getting cut in half.
Oh yeah.
So
just the fact that
he did justice though. He came back and was riddled with vengeance and was different and was touched and fought Obi-Wan and met his final death and now lays in a grave in the sands of Tatooine.
Yes, he does.
So they went full circle with it and still put him down again. These others, they're just surviving and then ruling the universe.
No, Kylo Ren didn't survive. Kylo Ren died.
Kylo Ren looks more like Qui-Gon.
it's the how is it the scale of how much you look like Liam Neeson? It's like, okay, I'm sorry, but you look far too much like Liam Neeson. You're gonna die. I'm sorry, man. Well, that's true. Are you a cute female? You're gonna live.
If you're a female in current year, you can survive lightsaber attack. If you're a male, you deserve to die because
okay.
Because granted, none of us care. Anyway, never mind. Target audience. Okay, moving on.
So, what have we got? Anybody talking? I know people are out there talking. What are they saying? Are we talking about Fallout?
I think they've all gone silent.
I know.
But we appreciate seeing Curtis and Ruffles and Falcor and shenanigans. And Tim is in the chat also. Woohoo! So
Han Solo.
No, wait.
Han Solo looks more like Qui-Gon and Kylo. No one's catching on here.
See,
I hate it when you're right. I mean, it's now you've thrown out this little sarcastic nugget, and now I'm like, as you often say around here,
kind of beige, you don't survive lightsaber thrusts. If you're the opposite of everything I just said, you can just brush it off and walk away, and it can happen to you again, and you're fine. Yeah, it's Disney Star Wars.
Maybe the anatomy in a galaxy far, far away is more Whovian or Vulcan than...
I have no idea what that means. Yes. No, my favorite part about Han Solo dying is, Han or Harrison Ford wanted to die in the third movie, in the sixth, episode 6. But they didn't do it. They didn't do it. So he said when Camp comes back, he wanted to die. He wanted to have like a heroic death. And he said, well, then, okay, so we're going to stab you with a lightsaber. He goes, well, but I could come back from that. I was like, okay, we're going to drop you into the planet. He goes, well, I could come back from that. Okay, we're going to blow up the planet. He goes, okay, you got me.
Then drop you to the planet.
Blow up the planet. That kills Han Solo. That's what killed Han Solo. It wasn't the lightsaber. If you took the lightsaber, you could have been back to tank. He's fine. It's dropping him in a planet. It's the only way to kill Han Solo.
I like the way they killed Chewbacca in the books that I wish were still canon.
They threw a planet at him.
They dropped a moon on him.
Yeah, they threw a moon at him.
Hold on, here's your son. And then Han took off, and Chewie's like, ah. he turns around in the moon. Boom. Yep.
Yeah.
It was a great
moment.
series.
Great
New Jedi Order. Great series.
No, that was the Yuan's. That was the beginning of the Yuzon Vong.
The Yuzon Vong.
Yeah. Which was
That's
a great
where
series.
Luke married Mara Jade, and they had kids, and Han and Leia had kids, and it was the kids who were like these creatures from another galaxy don't exist within the Force, so I can't do things with them through the Force, but I can do things around them. Like, watch this, and made the air disappear so they suffocate. Or, look, if I'm really good aim, lightning. And Luke was like, no, don't do that. That's evil and dark. And they went, yeah, but it works. And he goes, yeah, it does work. Go ahead.
Yeah,
and they did.
We'll brush that off there.
One of them didn't come back to the light when it was all said and done, and they got their own book series.
Was that Jaden?
Jason.
No, Jason, yeah.
JCN.
And I know Ben was Luke's son. Jason Jalen.
Jason and Jayla were twins, and then Han and Leia had Anakin.
Anakin, that's right. That was his.
Yeah,
that was the other
and
one.
there was a whole thing in that where it's like any day now he's just going to snap because his name's Anakin, and
Well,
he won't grief and misery in that series because he's the one that Chewie saved.
Yeah, I was really getting into the expanded universe from about 2009 to 2015 when it got bought out by Disney, and I still enjoy. I mean, I still love the comics that even in the current they're awesome. Dr. Aphra and Darth Vader and
great.
Really good stuff. And now going back to the High Republic. And I guess that's what the Acolyte is going to be based off, is the High Republic. And I really
Republic is pretty interesting. Have you read any of it?
Yeah. I've been reading it on Marvel Unlimited. Yeah.
The comic books. Yeah, you haven't read the novels though.
No, because I have no time at all.
The Jedi Master that's a rock.
Oh, really?
There's a Jedi Master that is a large stone. And he's also a master navigator, ship navigator. And it's just a large stone, not a rock creature with arms and legs, not an anthropomorphic. It's just a rock, Michael.
Well, there you go.
It's a pet rock. Yeah.
It's like the droid Jedi.
I do like the Jedi that you can cut his arm off and he's like part lizard man, so it just grows back.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Trandoshans, I don't know when this became canon, but that you could cut parts of Trandoshans off, and it would look like any lizard. They'd grow their stuff. I don't. Like I said, I don't know when that became canon, but all of a sudden I'm reading the comics. I'm like, oh, and it's happening constantly. The Trandoshans are losing their body parts.
Yeah.
Anyway. So what we came to talk. I bet you're wondering why I called this meeting.
Meeting could have been a fist fight. I mean, email.
Hey, something turns 50 years old. Sadly enough, it wasn't me.
It's not me this year either.
Anyway, D&D is turning 50 years old this year.
You look like you forgot the name of it.
I did. This
the
game.
Man has put it behind him, Johnny. Last week, oh my gosh, he's on fire. You guys should check out the YouTube shorts. Woo! There was a straw, and it landed on Michael Cross's back, and he was done.
It was crazy. Check out YouTube. Brook did a lot of editing that was really, really kind of fun. That's where they called me a boomer. I'm like, come on, people. Gen X.
That's right.
Anyway, so Generation
Celebration.
Yes,
they're doing some stuff.
They are. Well, we already knew that they were going to be putting out a new player's handbook, DM's guide, and monster manual. And I'm all for it. Great. Let's update 5e. It hasn't been updated for 10 years. It's time for an update. So let's update it. And new cover art. So what do you guys think of the cover art?
So I looked at it at first, and I was one of those people that was like, what the hell is everyone looking at? Now, this is a little bit embarrassment on me, but also a little bit of commentary on some choices that were made in the designing. Not bashing the artist at all, because someone had to crop that thing. We've seen a bigger version of it, True. But I'm like, what are they looking at? What are they looking at? How come the dwarf is the only one that has any idea what's going on here? Because he looks like he's the only one looking at an enemy. Is the dragon their friend? Is this show now going to be called Dungeons and the Friends We Made Along the Way? Is that the name of this game? What's happening? And then people started saying something about the red dragon. I'm like, what the hell are y'all talking about?
The red dragon in the foreground.
But when I look down there,
Johnny, I didn't see it at all.
No, see the one thing I was okay. So not only did I see the red dragon, I was like, okay, this is a cover that's got 2 dragons, not one. You had the red dragon in the front. That's the one they were battling. So whereas you look at the red box, where you've got the dragon in front and the soldier trying to go out, the warrior trying to go after the red dragon. This is turned around. So you have the dragon in the foreground and the adventurers going toward the dragon.
Yeah.
And then you've got the gold dragon behind them. A lot of people are like, oh, he's their ally or he's on their side. My first thought was he's like a patron. Like in the Dragon Heist, where I think one of the patron in Dragon Heist was like a gold dragon. That's what I thought. He was like not physically behind the party, figuratively behind the party, backing the party.
I just think because they put the words down there, that's what pulled my eye.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And that's why I didn't see the dragon until I literally saw someone on Twitter drew lines out of people's eyes to what they were looking at. And it's like, well, 2 of them are looking at the red dragon at the bottom. And I'm like, hold on a minute. And I like zoom. I'm like, oh, there's a red dragon down there. Once I stopped looking at the white bold text.
Yeah.
That's covering up.
Yeah, that's where you need to see the full art too, and that's that is a little disappointing. I didn't think about the fact that it was covered. I saw the red dragon. I think maybe I might have seen it not without the words. That might have been why I saw it immediately. Because if you follow their eye line, it's like, oh, they're looking right at that dragon. I guess how you see it first. Did like the.
It's okay. It's not the greatest in the world. It's not the worst in the world. I feel like that it's, and we were talking about this in our little Grognard chat. The whole thing that, we're watching a stream. The whole thing with.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. Good job. Nicely done.
It's oil paint, but it's digital oil paint.
Yeah,
right.
There's the red dragon right down there. There's the red dragon.
Yeah. Well,
and I see. That's why I said the gold dragon almost appears like he's not so much there as he is like I said, a patron behind him, backing the party.
Where's his hand coming from?
That makes
sense.
The
hand that's behind the sword. Where's that hand coming from?
It's the gold part of the gold dragon. That's why I say I don't think he's physically there. Like he's pointing toward the red dragon. Like he's pointing, go get that. Go get that.
Have you seen the alternate cover, the collector's cover?
Can you pull that one up, Brooke?
Yeah, let me stop sharing here for a second.
And they're all hanging out nice and cozy.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, do I need to close that?
Now, as far as the artwork of this one goes, it's not my style.
Try putting that on again. Try putting that on again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, hold on, just come on. Here we go. 2 monitors. I know how to work things. I really do. There we go. And going live.
There we go. So, no, that's the old one.
Oh no, yeah. Let me get to the new one, and I'll pull that in. And the kind of that not watercolor, but that oil that you were talking about, Johnny. Mm-hmm. It's like there's parts of it that are vibrant, and I get that it's, but at the same time, it's also muted. It's weird for me in the style. I do like what Michael was saying with the idea that, maybe he's.
We're still not seeing it. I don't know why we're not seeing it.
Metaphorically, maybe he's not there. So anyway, I'm gonna grab the alternate cover and pop that up in just a second. So
okay.
There
was a video I watched a little over a year ago, I guess, and it talked about how covers of fantasy RPG books have changed over the decades. Whereas if you look at some of the early ones, the adventurers are running away from monsters because, oh my God, it's a giant dragon. They're kind of running away while maybe they're shooting a bow at an angle and they're maybe trying to cast a spell while they're backing off and they look scared. And then as time went on, it's like nothing scares us. We'll destroy this giant behemoth of a dragon, and they're all running in attack mode. And I was curious what this was going to look like with the celebrating 50 years thing. And it just seems to still kind of be on par of we're superheroes at level 1. We're rushing and attacking this creature.
But that's D&D though. I mean, they are superheroes at level 1. They are still doing things that I mean that's kind of the point of them is they're supposed to be larger than life.
No, you say that's D&D. I disagree. That's current edition D&D.
No, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's fifth edition. That's fifth edition.
Yeah.
Correct. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It is, but it is fifth edition. In fact, actually, I was thinking. Here we go. Look, I was just going to pull this up.
Yeah. Now, even in the old school ones,
There we
though,
go.
whenever you
Let me pull these
see
off
some
here.
old school where they're fighting the dragon, you know, toe to toe, I never saw that as level 1. I always saw that as like, oh, that's what my character's going to be someday.
Right.
Like, I'd be bummed to fight a dragon at first level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea that they're having tea, that they're just chilling
I
out.
like this. Yeah, aesthetically, I like it. The thing I don't like is we're hanging out with dragons. I mean, call me a grognard if you want to. We're clearing dungeons and fighting dragons, not clearing dungeons and having cottage core with dragons.
I know, but I'm going to say grognard here. You have your metallic dragons and you have your chromatic dragons, and you can hang. Yeah. You can hang with. I mean, Drist is having sex with 2 of the silver dragons. Okay, so no, it was Jarlaxle maybe was doing that. So
that's Jarlaxle. I mean, anything that moves.
Yeah. So you know, no, to me it's the grognard thing. If something comes at me, it's a metallic dragon. I'm like, oh, he just wants to talk. If it's got a color, run, because it wants to eat your face. So, yeah. So anyway, good showing those.
That's fun. Anyway, now I like the style of this one better. Maybe it kind of has a little Flynn style to it, or not Flynn, so Errol Flynn. No, the first edition, you know, style a little bit to it. Until I zoom in close, and then I see there's kind of lack of detail with faces and things, and then I'm like, so.
I guess it's by the same artist who did the special effects or the special edition for Tasha's, is what I understand.
Oh,
for Tasha's Cauldron and everything. And so, if you like that style of art, I mean, the beautiful thing is it's art. So, you know, if you like certain types of art, then, you know, this might be your kind of thing. So I love that I think we talked in our little Grognard channel about the oil feel to it. That it looks really cool. So I don't know. So here's a question: cool. What is your favorite D&D cover art?
Oh, that's fantastic.
What's that?
I have screens ready for that too. At least on my end.
I have a few. So why don't? Okay, I'll go ahead and start off. Let's see, which one do I want to start off with? Okay, let's just do this one. It is the Monster Manual 2. It with the ogre fighting. You guys can't see it, but the ogre fighting,
swinging.
Yeah. I mean, or this giant. I mean, you really get an idea of what a giant really looks like. And I think that one even looks better than what they do in the fifth edition. I think it's Player's Handbook, where you got this almost like just more of almost a floating giant head, because everything's so dark around him. But no, it's one of my favorites. Is the Monster Manual 2, back in 88, 86, something like that. Anyway, Johnny, what's your favorite?
Well, with fear of telling you my favorite, I'm not implying that no one should like any of the others, or that you should be forced to like the one that's my favorite. But the Spider Queen module, where she's sitting, and they're all around her, and the big white hair.
Queen of the Demon Web Pits, right?
That's right.
I don't know, Pits, maybe Temple of the Queen of something.
No, I think it's Queen of the. I don't know. Anyway, Spider Queen.
Wait, that may be the one. Demon Web Pips maybe where like the spider's crawling out of the pillars from the background.
Yeah, that's like half. So that one's half drow, half spider. Yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. Is just all the drow priestesses are sitting around the throne, and that's amazing. Great artwork.
Oh, yeah. That one is awesome.
Yeah.
That one is awesome. I have come over here where maybe I can share screen again. Ooh, yeah. So the Legends and Lore is one of my favorites, but it's not my favorite, right? But it's great. But it's there. Surprisingly, I also let me jump over here where I can control it for a second. I also really like if we can still see that going on, maybe.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we're seeing it.
Okay, very good. I also really like the 4th edition Dungeon Master's Guide because it has a throwback to
and they're in the crystal ball. I had noticed that
they're
before.
inside the crystal ball, and I don't care for 4th edition at all, but man, I really like that cover a lot. Like, you know, it works really, really well.
Yeah.
Anything Elmore, and this was almost I put these all together in one group because I break the rules like that all the time. But I tell you what, it hits nostalgia. Elmore's probably my favorite fantasy artist, and just that basic set, that expert rules set, that companion set, they're just like, I mean, you literally see, you know, all the encounters you can have with dragons. It just thrills me. I love it.
You know, go back, leave that companions on there real fast.
Oh yeah.
So I think one thing I like about this and this age of art for fantasy was it wasn't. I feel like if this was done today by a modern artist, and it's great, it's fine that it is, but I feel like it would be such a focus on the dragon fighting the knight that everything in the background would just kind of be a blur of clouds and smoke.
Right.
I like that I can look all the way at that mountain peak hundreds of miles away, and it's just the whole world opens up and it takes me there.
Yeah.
That castle in the distance with the trail going up it, and you know, I wonder what's on the other side and who's in it. There's so much, the forest. I mean, there's so much to look at in this, and that's why I like a lot about a lot of the old style art was it wasn't just like a blur background with the 2 focal points. It was the whole scene.
Yeah.
And you know there was probably more to this painting. It probably is you know, bigger margins all the way around, and there might be like another dragon flying in behind them for all we know. And yeah.
Like you know, like we know from recent releases from Elmore's library that this piece originally has a whole party here, you know.
Yes, but they're all behind you. They clipped it off.
There's a wizard over here, and there's a rogue down here just shoving coins into a bag. You know?
Sorcerer's casting a spell.
Yeah. Which I love that draft piece. I'm like, that's really, really cool. It's even cooler probably than this one, you know. But yeah, I think it took me a while to see it, but I remember as a teenager, you know, suddenly realizing the way this dragon is pushing down these mighty trees, and the way that Elmore, the artist, showed us how much weight and power he has just by his foot. Like the way I would push over, like, you know, like a reed, you know, or a cattail or whatever. And he just pushes over this tree as he's landing in on there. It's just awesome. So
okay. Oh, let's go and get that. Stop streaming there. Because for some reason I can't close that after you do that. I didn't know you could. I didn't know you couldn't do that. Like I tried to stop watching, and I don't know why. Cool. I did also want to mention some other ones from me also. Deities.
Go right ahead.
Deities and demigods. Which I am showing right now on the screen, which I don't know if you guys can't see. But this one, there's something special about Deities and Demigods. I loved that book. So I'm not certain if it's necessarily the art so much as I loved this book. And so whenever I see that iconic
bottle on the cover, you
got the one cleric going against the other cleric, basically fighting, and up above them are these gods basically fighting each other. It's just really cool. So, Johnny, you got another one?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to what Shenanigans mentioned there in the chat. I really like the collector's alternate cover for Xanathar's, especially when you compare it to the original, to the mass market cover. It's, you know, the all the eyes, the way the interpretation of the eyes, the interpretation of the fish in the bowl. all of it. It's really great. I don't have pictures ready. I didn't know there was homework.
No, I'm actually pulling it up. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
pull this.
but it's
put
really
that
it
in
was a
there,
really
so.
fun cover. I already had Xanathars and figured I would miss my shot at having got it, but I wasn't even going to buy it. And Ron at Game HQ, I walked in and he goes, "Hey, I knew you want this. I saved it for you," and pulled it
What?
out. And I was like, "Oh yeah, definitely," and snagged it up. Yeah, so shout out to Game HQ and old Ron.
That's fantastic.
So what else you got, Brooke?
So,
was that all for you?
So, well, then I was, just the only thing that, I don't know that it's like, again, I think the Elmore ones have to win for favorites. Like they absolutely have to win for favorites. But that very last one from the D&D starter set, it like, and you can see there's a pattern here, right? When you've got a dragon and you're there, and sure, this guy is toast. He is about to be swallowed whole.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, maybe if he's 18th level, he's gonna do some type of dodge or flip or roll onto the dragon's nose or slide underneath his belly, but probably he's dead. And,
yes. Well, and especially if that green dragon's going to shoot poison at him, so it's...
Oh, yeah, exactly. And maybe there's a wispiness of misty vapor already coming out of his mouth, there. If you're talking about a cover that makes me want to pick up a book, that's what these covers do for me. Like, they make me want to, oh my gosh, what is that story? I want to know that story, so...
Yeah. The only thing I do want to mention also, the Unearthed Arcana with the wizard sitting around with a bunch of tubes. That's just fabulous. There's so much going on there. I think, is that also Elmore?
That's easily.
Okay. Yeah. I love that one. And then finally, of course, you can't go wrong with the original Player's Handbook with the guys. And my favorite part of the Player's Handbook about this is not just the cover. It's a wraparound, because on the back there's other guys bringing in lizard men, and they're looking at the map. I mean, these are adventurers who are down in the dungeons doing the thing, and so amazing stuff. So those are my favorites right there. Anyway, so
I want to shout out, and it was the AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide with the wrestling busting the doors open.
Oh yes, the second edition.
Yeah, I've seen.
That was second printing, I think, but first edition.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I've seen images of people with a whole back tattoo of that.
Oh wow!
No way.
Well done. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it's amazing stuff. And if you've gotten the Book of Art and Arcana, which I think I've got right up here. I highly recommend it. It is a great book, because really D&D would not be where it is today without the artwork. It is. It is the art that drew us into it. I mean, even the monsters in the original Monster Manual on the cover weren't the greatest, but it drew your imagination immediately. There was so much stuff going on that Monster Manual, and I don't think you've ever done anywhere close to justice on a Monster Manual, showing all the different monsters and the different levels. You had all these things going on all over the place. So, the original Monster Manual, although the art was a little basic, it still it drew the attention and drew the imagination, I think.
Michael, you're a fan of Baldman games. Have you ever looked at any of their Dungeon Crawl Classic books and the artwork in them?
Yes. I've looked at. I've never tried to play a Dungeon Crawl Classic, but but the artwork is.
The thing I like about it is it's not done by great artists, but it's done by really good visionaries. If that makes sense. It's like you can look at that piece and say, this wasn't done by the greatest artist in the world, but man, I love where they went with it when they did it, and the composition, the depth, everything.
Yeah. You're right. And so that's why the artwork it transcends just Wizards of the Coast, because Kobold Press, their artwork is sometimes some of the most phenomenal. the I think it's Legendary. It's not Legendary Games. I don't think it's anyway. There's a bunch of third-party groups out there that are also doing amazing artwork, and they put out these books. I'm like, where are you finding these artists, and why do they not have jobs with Wizards of the Coast? Because they are so good, and you're putting your stuff out on DM's Guild. You know, there it is, the Dungeon. Yes,
yeah.
And for some reason, I thought that was second edition. There's the Monster Manual.
Yeah.
Which. The beauty of it is, again, you've got the owlbear, you've got the what is that thing with the tentacles?
The roper.
The roper, and a troll, which was a weird looking troll. I always thought the trolls were kind of weird. Unicorn, centaur.
This was one of those that had that great wraparound cover where there was stuff going on underneath in the ground, and then above.
I think all of the original AD&D covers were wraparound.
Yeah. And Johnny didn't, and I thought maybe you and I'd mentioned this at some point just on the side comment. Didn't someone start to redraw these? Didn't someone do a panel of this and make monsters look better? You know?
Who was it? Is it like Wizards and Wizardry or Sword and Sorcery? Some game that's like being a retro, because there's so many retro clones out there from indie creators where they're not calling it AD&D or D&D Second Edition. They're calling it Castles and Crusades.
Yes,
which it might actually be that one. But what they're doing is their monster manual is basically this. It's a red dragon flying over a unicorn and a centaur, but it's more about it's bigger budget.
Yeah. And you mentioned Dungeon Crawl Classics. Oh, sorry.
It's amazing because even in the jump from the staircase to the ledge, and then if you go like beyond that, there's just it's misty and foggy, but you can still but also it's not the greatest artwork in the world either. Like, you know, the stuff that Wizards commissions and gets is better as far as just how does this look goes, but still you can see their passion behind it and what they're going for. Looks good.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll pull us back. Yay!
So I'll close the stream. There we go. Running out of time, actually. So we were going to talk about some other things. What else were we going to talk about? Let me look at our doobly-doo here. Return to Greyhawk. So we're understanding that, I guess, in the DM's guide, it's going to, like all DM's guides, they try to teach you how to create a world. And apparently what we're hearing, rumors are, is that they're going to use Greyhawk as an example of how you create a world. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. So in the Dungeon Master's guide, they are there's a whole section on how to create your own campaign. Right. And they use Greyhawk as an example, and they don't use it all on purpose to say, now here, take what you've learned and finish this and make your own. So you can kind of make your own Greyhawk. It'd be really interesting to see them turn away from still have Faerun and still have the Forgotten Realms, but like they did with fourth edition, make a different. It was a fourth edition, but make a different home setting. Greyhawk would be fun because of the 50th anniversary and how old Greyhawk is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really exciting, interesting news. I don't know how much of it they're going to talk about, anything beyond the Dungeon Master Guide. Maybe there'll be enough buzz and they listen and say, hey, let's make a Greyhawk adventure and then, put it out there.
Yeah, I don't understand why they don't, especially because what's really been working for Wizards for the past few years is the fact that they've kind of gone to different worlds. They've added going to Kryn. At least they've added them in. So I'd like to see Greyhawk. I mean, let's go back to Mystara. I mean, that's an entire world that you could easily revisit. I think would be wonderful. And I think there's you've already got 5th edition. You've already got it well established. You've already got classes, subclasses. I mean, you don't need to build that anymore. Let's build worlds. Yeah. And because I think the more worlds you build, the more it sparks the juices of a DM to create their own world.
Yeah.
If you, I'm going.
That was another thing I liked when I heard that there's going to be, that they're using it as a section to, push to create your own, and that's a big thing. I feel like and not in a bad way. I just feel like so much is handed to you right now with D&D that you don't have to make up your own.
Right.
That's one thing I love about what we're doing, because I mean, I don't want to give a spoiler away for anyone that's not caught up to yesterday's episode, but it was said, we'll talk about this in 2 weeks, I'm sure, but Aiden, our DM, actually said, this changes everything I had planned for the next 2 episodes. And it was just one instance, one choice that turned it all around. And it's great, because then you can Aiden's just going to keep going and keep trucking and keep creating, because there's not a book to follow that says, I don't know what to do if it goes off the rails.
Yeah. And folks, I mean, you have to listen to the episode. We don't want to do any spoilers of what happens, but the greatest thing to listen to is Aiden's realization of what was happening. And you can hear it in his voice. I mean, the great thing about our podcast is it's not video, so you can't see what's happening. You can hear it in Aiden's voice that things have gone wrong.
He is thinking TPK.
And
like
he has
is
to.
Like, my goodness.
And then the fact that once it's done, he's like, okay. And he just thinks real fast. Okay, well, then you can do this. You can do this. You can do this. And of course, I'm biased. He's my son. I'm very proud of him. But I was just amazed watching him DM and go, no problem, we'll do this. No problem, we'll do this. And just jumped right into it.
The fun thing to watch him do was the players were saying in character, if we could get to this and find that.
Yes.
And it's like, says it like it's just always been the next part of the story.
Oh yeah,
exactly.
And you know, it wasn't. Once you hear the episode, you'll know it wasn't.
Right.
But yeah, but for a brief moment though, he was like, gulp.
Yeah, I know. Well, and then when we got to where it was supposed to be, it was his description of the place, his way he was talking about. It's like he had it written. Yeah. Like, they were going to go to this place. Anyway, he had no idea. No, and it was beautiful. So when you listen to it,
that was not on the map anywhere. That's why someone says, you know, oh, hey, we could do this. I think I know where it is. It's hidden.
Yeah.
And then just like Johnny says, he takes that and it's like as if it's always been there, and evidently isn't very hidden, but that's like it was community world building around the table. Yeah. It was great.
I really hope, and what the creators of Wizards of the Coast have been talking about is that the DM's guide, when it comes out, will be more like that, to help guide a DM to be a good DM. And the problem I have always had with DM's guides, and I mean DM's guides all the way back to AD&D, they've not been good books necessarily.
They're not organized well.
They're filled with information that you can look up, but as far as reading it to really understand what it means to be a DM, the best way to be a DM, sit down and be a DM.
Yeah.
Well, for sure.
But if you've got a book that can also go, by the way, here's some ideas, so read through this book, and once you read through this book, you'll have a better idea. Aiden he was, in 2017, we started playing 5th edition. He was 11 years old. By the time he was 12 years old, he was DMing. He has been DMing for 6 years, and not just an adult who DMs for 6 years. During his formative creative years, he's been a dungeon master. So that's why he can jump right into it. But I think hopefully the Dungeon Master's Guide will be that book that will help people to be a better dungeon master. Because we need more dungeon masters. And we need more people creating stuff. I love the fact that we've got the adventures. I think it's fantastic that we've got all the books, and plenty of modules from on DM's Guild and plenty of third-party stuff. But we need creative people that are out there building worlds.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they need, and maybe you need a source book that then, here's the basics, and so you don't have to create, all these. You don't have to create everything, but here's the framework. Yeah. Now go and populate it, right? Exactly. And if they did that with Greyhawk, and then Johnny, this was your idea, 3 months later or 6 months later, did it with Kryn, or did it with
Mystara, or actually making new places. I mean, let's make new worlds. Let's maybe go do more steampunk type stuff. Let's do some more because the beauty of 5e, it can fit in any time, place. It doesn't have to.
Another great thing too about creating your own campaign setting or adventure is if you get a really great reaction from your table and you feel really good about it, tighten it up, kickstart it, hire a few artists, and you're in business.
Make it real. And
many people have done that.
Yeah, if nothing else, though, and which would be great. That's everybody's dream is to actually be able to produce something, sell something as far as the end. But it's about you and your table.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that we live in a day and age where you can get all this stuff. But I mean, when we were kids, the only audience you ever played for was the 4 or 5 boys around your. And I'm going to say boys because we were around your table.
I had girls at my table. It was cool
Back then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 3. I know.
Oh my gosh.
One of them is married to one of my best friends now, so she never left. So
Wow. I
nerds.
I know. Now I can't even imagine sitting at a table. I don't think I've ever played at a table since I started 5e. I don't think I've ever played at a table that did not have some female representation at the table. So 5e is where I think it's opened the door. But again, your only audience at the time. There's not podcasts. There's not Critical Role. It's just you at a table and creating this world for just you and your friends. And we play all weekend long. We get off school at 5 on Friday evening. Boom, we're playing all weekend long. And the DM's making stuff up. Yeah, the DM's making stuff up. It's like, sure, let's go for it.
Hey, Johnny, I want to loop back around because you are right. It's super cool. I found that upgrade, shall we say?
Did you really? Okay, let me close these things up. Put that up there.
It's by I think Walton, I think is the artist name. I'll double check it in just a minute. But so there's the original, wraparound cover. It's got the purple worm and the mana core, and all that great stuff.
Unless you got a fairy, you got a purple worm, look at some brownies down there, and Griffin up there,
yeah. And then here's when the art budget got a little bit better. So
yes, I have seen this. So
freaking cool. Like
I want that on my wall.
I know. It's crazy awesome. And it's got that thing, like you said, Johnny, it adds depth. Like way back here, there's a Durasque way back in the back.
Oh my gosh, there's a Trask back there.
And
what's that up in the upper left-hand corner? There's the castle, but the one right next to the Manticore. What is that?
And then I think it's just a giant, right?
I think it might be a Trask. That is so fabulous.
He's got a big old axe.
If you look at the underground creatures, way back behind them, you can see the caverns opening and twisting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes you places,
Yeah. Well, and the castle up in the sky, the moon in the background. I mean, that's just absolutely gorgeous. Now we finally got the original up on the YouTube that I'm watching, our original, because we're a little bit delayed. And there's none of that. So you got the castle in the sky.
Yeah.
But none of the other stuff in the background. So the creativity of this artist.
Yeah. It is that I find. Let me see. It is Waltron.
It is Castle and Crusades, which is another type of. It is. I actually heard some pretty good things about as a system. It's supposed to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's a tightened up retro clone. They got rid of Thaco and they do the ascending armor class and stuff. And I've heard lots of good. I want to play that, and I want to play the DCC system because I like what I hear about their magic.
Too. Yeah, I've heard again. I want to play all these games, and I don't have time. I want to play all these games. I do want to try Castles and Crusades. I want to try it, and I've got. The funny thing is, I've got them because back about 2-3 years ago, Humble Bundle had a RPG bundle for $25. Get 500 books on, and Castles and Crusades was part of them. Dungeon Crawl Classics was part of them. Burrows and Bunnies was part of it. I mean, I've got all these books, and I just don't have time to run any of them. So maybe Red Dirt Outlaws someday. We'll do that on Red Dirt Outlaws. Soon we're going to do Cyberpunk and all this kind of other stuff. But I just want to play some other games. I love 5e. I'm not dashing D&D, but there's so many great systems out there. And speaking of which. Kobold Press, very quickly. No, it's 8:00. We're done.
It's 8:00. We'll have to save Kobold Press for next time. And in the Patreon hangout on the 15th of just a couple days ago, Mark Coffrin was giving us some clues about the warehouse. He's now has his tech up and running. That might be a place to play all those games.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. Might have to, Mark. I might have to actually, guest star on one of your.
Make a seat, right? Can I please be on the table?
Like as head of this network, I'm gonna have
I need another show to be on. God. Starring me. I'll play all the parts. I'm like bottom. Okay. Well, teaser for a future episode. Okay. Folks, that's going to do it for us. This has been Plausible Deniability. I'm Michael Cross.
I'm Brook Bullock.
Johnny Payne.
I will not be here in 2 weeks.
What?
I will not. I'll be on vacation.
Oh, that's right.
So
did I have internet? Where you? Oh, that's right. You're going hiking. We're up in the mountains.
I'm not going hiking. I might go hiking, but it's not. That's not why. But
a party.
But you guys should be on here for the last 2 weeks or last 2 episodes. We've had one without Brook, one without Johnny. So you guys could do it. You guys have fantastic. Check out our episode.
It's got to be unsupervised.
Check out episode 79, folks.
Old days.
It's like the old days. I know. You remember when you used to do this without me?
That's right. We used to do this show without him all the time. What am I thinking?
So drunk, yeah.
And then I had to die, and you guys got me on, and I never stopped coming on.
You came on as a guest, and you're like, this is fun.
We really did, boys and girls.
Tuesday night.
See you guys in a couple weeks.